Ty Bartell in with another edition of Coach's Corner, and it's always a special one when I get to talk to Mr. Roy Sembach of the Newton Falls boys basketball program. So influential, and so many other coaches in the area too. They credit you, sir, to their coaching success too, and their love for the sport as well. How are you doing today, though?
I'm doing great. It's early on here, and we're ready to go.
When you talk about practices, I mean, they just started last week, but you got a few under your belt. What are you seeing in practices right now, and what do you like what you're seeing?
Well, we have a very young and inexperienced team, but I love their enthusiasm. I love their work ethic, and we have good talent. We're a little bit dinged up right now with some injuries and some illness, but the guys that are able to go are going really hard, and of course we're pleased with their progress so far.
Let's before we talk about this season, let's do some takeaways from last season and some of the guys maybe you're returning from last season. Obviously, a successful season again for the Tigers, and you always do a good job in getting the most out of the boys. What do you take away from last season going into this year?
Well, last year we won 15 games, had a really great defensive team, and we were a little challenged when it came to shooting the ball. But this year is going to be a great challenge for our program. We lost all 5 starters from last year. We lost 7 seniors, 7 lettermen. And so for most teams, that's going to spell doom and gloom for the next season. We have not had a losing season in the past 17 years in Newton Falls, and we've only had one in the last 26 years. So that's why this is going to be the challenge, because most teams, you lose your starting 5, you lose 7 seniors, you're going to be, you hope to win a couple games that next year. That's not our expectation. Even though we lost all that, we have I think talented kids coming back, and that's going to be the challenge, is to see if we can still do well with almost no experience coming back on this year's team.
Let's talk about some of those kids. Obviously, the roster's not finalized yet, but let's do a sort of meet the team segment where, I mean, give some shout outs to some kids you think are going to have an impact with this team this year.
Sure. Start with our seniors. A couple lettermen, one Jabril Rufai. We expect big things out of him. He's grown a little bit. He's up to 6'6" right now. He's a 6'6" guard. Wow. He can shoot it pretty well, and he can take the ball the hole pretty well. So we're going to need him to perform at his highest level. We also have the Stinson twins, Zach and Alex. Our senior Zach lettered for us last year, played in the post, coming off the bench, and he's a great leader and a really hard worker. And Alex, his twin brother, a little bit different type of player. He's more of a perimeter player, more of a shooter. Both are physical, strong, aggressive kids. We have a couple junior lettermen. One, Landon McGregor, who unfortunately tore his ACL in the tournament game last year, but he is getting back right now, and he should be able to go for us. He's a big, strong, tough kid. 6'2", big and strong. And then we have the other letterman that we have back, Cam Huff is a junior he's a really good shooter, and it just does a nice job in other areas as well. And then other kids, that we're counting on, we have some other juniors. We have Carson Howard, our point guard, who has worked his tail off during the summer and showed great leadership, getting the kids in the gym, getting them to play often. He's done a great job. We have Ethan Powell, who's kind of one of those kids every team likes to have. Does dirty work, will do stuff that doesn't show up in the box score, set screens, dive for loose balls, box out, do those type of things. We have Thomas Ainsworth, big 6'6", a kid for us, who's strong in the post. He's gotten a lot better. Right now he's dealing with an ankle injury, but hopefully we'll have him back and ready to go as well. So those are the guys. I think I got about everybody I think that we got going here. And those are the guys we're looking at. And we've got a couple others that have got a chance too. We got Travis Tursak, a junior for us, and Caden Clunch, a sophomore, might also be able to give us a few minutes here and there.
It sounds like synopsis wise, you guys have a decent amount of height on this year's squad, and I mean that's always going to help in the tough conference that you guys do play. And MVAC Gray is one of the best basketball conferences I think boys
Yeah,
wise in the area.
last year we were probably about as quick and athletic a team as I've ever had, and that's why we were so good defensively. This year's almost the opposite. We're not all that quick or anything, but we are strong, and we got some strong, physical, tough-minded kids, and they can be a little bit chippy, and I say that in a good way. It's important to them to fight, compete, and win, and that's why I'm not afraid of this situation with no starters coming back, because these guys at the JV level last year, they were dominant. They had a great JV season. So we're looking forward to see what they can do at the varsity level, and more importantly, I think they're looking forward to see what they can do at the varsity level.
Talk to me about this conference that you guys do play and some of the challenges that this conference is gonna present and the strengths you're gonna need to play to have some success in it.
Well, I think every coach you talk to in our league is probably going to start out by saying how tough, well-balanced, and well-coached our teams are in our league. And they all say it because it's all true. Every game is a fight. And, teams you expect to be the best ones at the beginning of the year, they are pretty good, but teams that you don't think are going to be that good fit right in there. So, Camel's got quite a few kids coming back off a real good team last year, real good second half of the year. LeBray's got kids coming back off of a real good team. Both those teams are well coached and going to be challenges. Crestview's well coached, Brookfield's well coached. They're all well coached. And the thing about league play in basketball, teams know each other so well. So those games, you got to play them twice. And so those games, it comes down to usually half court execution and being able to make some shots to win some of those games.
Now, I don't expect you to give away the whole playbook, but when you have a different team, a different look of things this year compared to last, does the playbook change? Does the brand of basketball you guys change, or are there just little tweaks and you're kind of utilizing a same set,
It's more little tweaks. And I think every coach, what you should do at the high school level, you have to do what your talent, what you have. At college, you can recruit what you want to run your own system. And, an example for us, I used to love the dribble drive offense. In the past couple of years, we haven't had the real good penetrators, so we had to go to a little bit more of a motion, screening, and cutting offense. So, this year's team, even though it's a different team, it still does kind of fit in most of the things we do. I think defensively, we'll be primarily man-to-man, probably less like trapping and jumping and things like that. More just solid, tough man-to-man. Offensively, I think we can run whatever we want, but probably more of an emphasis on posting some kids up and trying to get the ball inside, because we got some big kids who can score around the basket.
What does this non-conference look like in your eyes too? And what do you think the non-conference is going to present challenge wise for you guys? Give you some different looks, obviously, is the goal with that.
Yeah, we like to play a variety of teams, non-conference. We like to play a couple schools close to us, rivalries. We have rivalry with Wyndham. We have one with Southeast, and Southeast coming into our league next year too. So we'd probably be the most familiar team with them, as we play them every year. And then we'll have nice challenge going against Howland, going against Lakeview, going against Niles. One smaller school we play, but another well-coached team that does a nice job is Heartland Christian, which will be a nice game for us. So I hope our non-league games, help us to get ready for the league. And I look at our schedule, and there's nobody on there who I don't think we can't compete with, and there's nobody there. It's going to be an easy game for us too. I think that that it's going to make it exciting, because every game is going to be have no idea if you're going to be able to win or lose. It's going to be determined by how hard you play and how well you play.
I mean, there's such a huge credit to you as a coach, to the kids throughout the years for the amount of success that Newton Falls basketball has experienced, and it's a credit to all of it. What's your secret for continued and constant success at this level too, and just seeing these winning teams year in and year out?
Well, a couple things. One is great help. my assistants do just a tremendous job. I still wouldn't be coaching if I didn't have the help that I have. Mike Mazinetz, he's my top assistant, and he's really good. He's one of the best coaches in the area. And in order to be able to keep him here, I let him do a whole lot of the coaching because he came up as a manager from me from when he was in 6th grade years ago. And he really has a good grasp on the game, and he does a lot of the floor work for us and does a great job. We have other guys. Terry Smith has been a former Tiger, does a great job as well, and does a lot with our rebounding, especially. We have a new JV coach this year, Evan McGill, coming over from McDonald. We're excited to have him. I think he's going to be a hard worker and good for us. Patrick Hardicher is our freshman coach, helps the JVs. He's just one of those guys, loyal guys who just totally dedicated the program, does everything that you would want, anything you'd ask for, he's going to go ahead and do. Our junior high program has been very solid. David Hookery's been there for a few years, has our 8th grade. Brendan Jones has our 7th grade. And Dale Huff helps down with both them and also helps run our elementary program. And, Dale's been with us for a whole bunch of years helping with our elementary program. So those guys are a huge reason for our success and hopefully continued success. The other thing really, we are a program. We're not one of these schools that goes out and gets kids from all over the place and things like that. We have to build our program. And I think the other most important thing we do, I start those kids. We have a camp every summer. It's actually 4 different camps, starting with kids coming out of kindergarten through 8th grade. And my varsity guys and JV guys are down there with them. And it's a family. So we know them. We know the young kids, they know us. It's great when they come to games and our varsity players are calling those little kids by names and things like that. So I think that gets the ball rolling. You get those kids at the young age getting excited about basketball, working at basketball. And I think that's how we're able to sustain, a pretty good program year in, year out. Like, for past 26 years, we've been good all those years. And, in some years we've been really good.
I really love what you've done with this program, how you've built it, and it's one of the most respectable programs in the area. And I look forward to us crossing paths this season, Coach. I know I'm not going to be able to pass up and catching a couple of Falls games this year. Before I let you go, though, my final question, it's a theme question this year I'm doing for all coaches. It goes back to the love of the game, because the love of the game is what brings us back each and every season, whether we're playing it, coaching it, announcing it, doesn't matter. It's always the love of the game that keeps us coming back. Where'd that love of the sport of basketball start for you? Do you have an earliest memory, a pinpoint moment?
Yeah, but probably. I've loved all sports since I'm been 4 or 5 years old. I'm a sports nut. I follow all sports. I enjoy them all. Basketball in particular, probably. I grew up watching my cousin Lee Marcheski was a great athlete at Newton Falls, and they had a team in 1975 that was just a powerful team. And I was like around 7th grade or so, and I'd go, when he was a junior and sophomore, I was going in at an earlier age. That's where it started. And just going to those high school games, seeing the Newton Falls student section and the pep band and the big crowds and the popcorn. And it was just really exciting. And I also, would get out in the driveway and start shooting and I found out I can put the ball in the hole a little bit. Now that was kind of fun too. So that's where basketball has really started for me. And it's like I said, I enjoy all sports. I probably enjoy playing and coaching basketball more than anything. I probably enjoy watching football more than anything, and going to an event live. I love going to a baseball game, going to see different major league ballparks and everything like that. But sports at just an early age. My family, my father was very influential. He coached elementary football in town for many years, and sports has been a big part of my family and my life, and it's continued, forever.
Yeah, we have something in common with us here on the network. We tend to love sports pretty much too. Coach, I want to thank you again so much for the time you take out of your busy schedule to give us a good preview of this Newton Falls team. We're rooting for you here on the network this season. We wish you the best of luck this year, and we're going to be excited to have YSN cover some of your games once again this year.
We really appreciate it. You guys do a really good job. And, this year we're going to be interesting because I honestly, I don't know how this year is going to be with the inexperience. When you mix inexperience with talent, who knows how that's going to go. But I like these kids, and it should be a fun year.
Especially with that conference. Who knows who's coming out on top of that one this year as well. This has been a first edition of Coach's Corner with the legend over there at Newton Falls, their boys basketball coach, Mr. Roy Sembach.